This right here is going to be a segment piece. I tend to catalog and read off each of the massacres in the United States on this list one by one. So I'm gonna break down the list. Lynching in the United States since 1865. The shame of America. Do you know that the United States, the only land on earth where human beings are burned at the stake? In the 4 years 1918, 1921, 28 people were publicly burned by American mobs. 3,436 people lynched from 1889 to 1921. Okay. Is rape the cause of lynching? 83 women have been lynched in the United States, and lynch mobs go unpunished. The remedy, the dire anti the dire anti-lynching bill is now before the United States Senate. National Society for Advocacy of Colors. Lynching has been a component of racial violence in the United States since the end of the Civil War. While Americans of every racial background have been subjected to this violence, a disproportionate number of lynchings has been in the U.S. South, and most of the victims were African American women, men, and children. This page brings together a variety of information of lynchings of blacks in the U.S. It includes an overview of black lynchings by the Equal Justice Initiative titled Lynching in America, which with its listings of over 4,000 murders in the most comprehensive report of lynching now available. The page also includes individual descriptions of some of the most horrific lynchings documented from the campaign to end lynching and biography of the major works on the subject. Equal Justice Initiative, Lynching is America, is a Lynching in America, confronting the legacy of radical terror, racial terror, major lynchings. So we're gonna start right here. The lynching of Joe Cole, 1891. Joe Cole was official name was George Smith, was an African American man who lived in Omaha, Nebraska. Cole was a married father of two children and worked as a porter at a railroad company. Cole resided on North 12th Street, which was north of downtown Omaha. Joe Cole's life was dramatically upended in October of 1891 when he was accused of raping Lizzie Yates, a 5-year-old white girl. Despite accounting for his whereabouts and having supporting witnesses, Cole was arrested and jailed at the Douglas County Courthouse. Meanwhile, rumors flew and a false report that the child had died from the assault was circulated by the Omaha Bee, a local newspaper. Compounding matters, the newspaper claimed the Cole would only serve 20 years for the heinous crime. News of the light punishment enraged whites, fueled by fabrications and bloodthirst. They ordered the swift execution of Joe Cole. On October 10th, 1891, their demands for a Cole death were met. A mob of up to 1,000 men besieged the jail where Cole was detained. They insisted that guards hand over Cole, but authorities refused. The county sheriff and even the governor admonished the crowd, ordering them to disband. But they were seething and defiant. The city 12 police officers were grossly outnumbered, they did nothing, while the crowd yelled out racist slurs, rammed the courthouse doors with iron sheet cars, rails, and broke out windows, vigilant forcing their way into the building, and found Cole locked away in a steel cage. Upon seeing the fortification, they demanded and were supplied crowbars and sledgehammers. 2 hours later, the white mob had finally hammered and pried their way into the cage. Cole was snatched from the cell. The mob brutally beat Cole. They tied a rope around his neck and dragged him in the streets before finally hanging him from the streetcar cable that ran along 17th and Henry Street. Onlookers revealed in the lynching by cheering and soliciting speeches while Cole's corpse dangled overhead. Others sought to capitalize on the murder by collecting pieces of the rope using to hang Cole to sell as keepsakes. The day after Cole's brutal killing, multiple newspapers clarified the erroneous report that Lizzie Yates had died. Rather, the child was alive and well. The clarification, however, provided no justice for Joe Cole. Initially, 7 men were arrested, but no one was prosecuted. Although Cole had suffered 16 bodily wounds and 3 broken vertebrae, the deputy coroner testified that Cole had died of fright, simply scared to death, rather than by the brutal physical trauma inflicted upon him. Following the deputy coroner testimony, the first-degree murder charges brought against all 7 men were dropped. No one ever forced trial for the lynchings of Joe Cole. Years later, Lizzie Yates admitted that she had never been attacked by Joe Cole. See, black people, this is what I want us to understand as a people. This is what we need to understand, black people. There's never been a such thing as justice with us in America. White people don't respect no authority. They don't respect no laws. None of that. They respect oppressing you. They mass murderers. They have no problem with killing of our people. I'm going to do one more video. This one is going to be about a massacre. Understand, my people. Stop letting people tell you that you are a villain, that you are violent by nature, when they have continuously ruled this country by violence and by mob rule. Lynching. That was a lynching from...
Right, exactly.
The lynching of Joe Cole, 1891.